AQUIX, the most environmentally friendly company. Andrei, hello. Hello there. How's the mood? Thank you. Ready to share some cool information with the rest of the world? As a young pioneer, I'm always ready. Great. Well, the first question I'll probably start with, that's what everyone's asking. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become a researcher? How did you get into science? What are the results? And overall, what was your life like before you appeared here with me in the studio? I was born into a simple worker and peasant family. And it took several steps for me to get interested in science. The first stage was very important. It started when at school in a physics class I learned that the world was made up of chaotic movement of molecules. And everything around us emerges from that chaos. Even as a child, I could not agree with this premise. The second stage came when the Iron Curtain was lifted during perestroika time, and a huge amount of information poured forth into our country. And the third stage, the most important in my life, came when I was already working on manufacturing the equipment for those processes for energy projects. It was then that I saw imperfections that constant erosive wear, all the modifications we had to do for this equipment. And so I decided to start working on developing better processes with a group of people who were with me at the time. What is the essence of those processes? Why are they better than those that exist today? Their uniqueness lies in the fact that we have discovered the mechanisms that help us form artificial tornadoes inside the unit. That is, the speed of rotation of the flow reaches our control, and adjustment levels allow us to reach colossal speeds, subsonic speeds, or even speeds exceeding the speed of sound. The first thing that we notice is the formation of the dust cord in the center of the swirling stream. If dust, if any weighted particle, any fractional composition of any size, gathers in the center of the swirling stream while the bulk of the gas is excreted, this cord remains in the center, in our bunker. That makes it quite easy to get rid of any weighted particle that can be found in the waste gas. That's one thing. Then comes separation, the exhaust gas itself. As we know, these gases are multi-component. They contain those individual gas components, well, let's say such as sulfurous anhydride, some chlorine, fluoride, other components. They're starting to separate. The gas components that are heavier by molar mass are pressed against the wall, and the lighter ones gravitate towards the center. So your technology allows you to clean up the emissions that the plant produces. Smoke, yes, gaseous components. So smokes and gases, you clean them, and then whatever remains can still be recycled, or not. Right, it is this very capability, that is, what had not been emitted into the atmosphere may turn into some kind of a product in the future. A commodity. Wonderful. Oh, of course, thank you. By the way, I'm very grateful for this question. Indeed, there is an increase in the concentration of gas components as components that are present in the total volume of waste gases. They, I repeat, increase their concentration, and their share in the composition goes up to 100%. That is, formally speaking, their concentration goes up to 100%. So essentially what we get is waste-free production. That's exactly right. But that's not all. Everyone knows that there is this gas, CO2, carbon dioxide, and then there is hydrocarbon, CH. This is what our technology allows us to do, obtain hydrocarbons from CO2. Simply put, it's gasoline, diesel oil, fuel. Yes, synthetic oil. It's methane, gas. Yes, it is possible in gas components, and it is possible in condensed. And besides cleaning the air, you're saying essentially that this product left after the cleaning, that it can be used as fuel. That's right. Can we talk about the economics of it all and payback in numbers a little bit to be clear? That is, the economic rationale for this whole enterprise. Why is it profitable? First, in comparison with capital investments in equipment and in terms of metal intensity, the cost of gas is much lower. That is, the economic rationale for this whole enterprise. Why is it profitable? First, in comparison with capital investments in equipment and in terms of metal intensity, the cost of gas is much lower. That is, the economic rationale for this whole enterprise. Why is it profitable? Even at the first stage, it costs less and it is smaller in size. How much smaller as compared to the existing equipment? How much smaller? Twice. Is the installation twice cheaper? Yes, and if we compare the currently existing equipment by, say, any specific volume of waste gases, in particular the electric filter, the average one costs, say, 200 million rubles, and ours 100 million. It is smaller in size and its function is formally the same, cleaning waste gases from suspended particles. Now, when it comes to processing with possible obtaining of a product from the components, gas components that include, so it's waste-free production. Yes, we see here processing of gas with the possibility of obtaining commercial products, including synthetic hydrocarbons. This is already a set of equipment. This set of equipment will cost some 10-20 times more. Our technological solution, well, formally also, some set of equipment will cost 10 times more, at least. Could be 15 or 20. And the payback period for this equipment is a year and a half or 2 years. This is quite possible. Unlike other equipment that might take decades to pay off. Why hasn't your technology been implemented yet? Since I moved to Russia, indeed, under the auspices of the Academy of Sciences, the Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Science and Education, Interreo, and Rostec Corporation, I have had sufficient successful funding for my project's development for several years. To my great regret, this work was abruptly stopped. In 2015, all the state structures simply stopped providing the funding, not for me alone, by the way. And what was the reason for this? Can you tell us? As I was told, the state was more interested in technologies that had some military connection at that time. That is, the budget previously allocated to scientific research was redistributed in favor of the military sector. I was asked directly about this. Can your technology be used for military or technical purposes? Unfortunately, I do not understand it yet. Perhaps it could be applied in those areas as well, but as of today, we have been considering purely environmental and economic aspects. And so, the support of the state was discontinued, with only formal explanations, if any, stopped quite abruptly. I tried to find financing by contacting Gazprom and Ergo, the structures of Rostec, but unfortunately, in the end, the financing was stopped. I have attempted to continue working with those or other enterprises. The first thing I did was contact some enterprises. I've held dozens, if not hundreds, of negotiations with some, then with others, then with still others. Every partner seemed to agree, pretend to be friends, with applause even in some places. I've also met with various specialists on enterprises, and they had absolutely no objections, either about the theoretical justification or the technological component of the project, the equipment, etc. With our current funding, we cannot afford to finance research and development. Some open information sources say that more than $3 million were invested into your technology. Is this true at all? If you count all the years, starting with Kazakhstan. How many years, including the Kazakhstan period? Well, about 18 years. And then you get financing from the state, if I understood you correctly, right? As long as it was available. Some part of it, yes. Okay, where did the remaining part come from? My personal money. By and large, 2/3 of the invested money came from my own resources and from some other minor partners who provided their support. So the state provided about 1/3 of the funding. So would it be correct to say that it was mostly you who financed the development of this technology? Yes, in fact, yes. Has your technology been evaluated by someone? Considering the fact that all your technical drawings were approved, all the testing was approved. That's right. And so if they provide financing today, you can go ahead and manufacture the equipment with no need to test it, because it had been tested previously. We could assess the cost of the technological solution through negotiations. I've been negotiating successfully on a joint venture with South Korea, and very soon we will sign some legally binding documents in that matter. We're now discussing the final details of this process. Funding will be provided by the State Foundation. We're discussing the investment of several $1 million into this project. But this is just for the first year, right? Yes, it also includes the first year. For what period do you intend to plan, approximately, without any concrete numbers? Well, the roadmap has been put together for a period of 5 years. That is, within the period of 5 years? Yes, after 5 years we'll know the results. Is Korea interested in financing this production? Yes, then why 5 years? This is the first stage and we're clear about it. And then after 5 years, there will be no restrictions anymore whatsoever. You have other equipment, don't you? The equipment intended not for factories, not for cities, not for megapolises, but for domestic purposes. Equipment that can be delivered, shall we say, to each home. Could you tell us briefly now what kind of equipment that is? What kind of technology does it use? What product is obtained as a result, and what benefit will it bring to people? The first of the product line that we are offering today is a device that uses the formation of the water and steam collapse. We condense it into a drink. So this is the drink that you mentioned in your presentation, the drink of druids, right? That's right, yes, the drink of druids. As a technological solution had existed many millennia ago. And then the recipe was lost. We have figured out how these qualities appear, we have obtained those positive qualities of the drink, and finally, we have devised this concrete piece of equipment. There are two important elements here, the formation of the so-called hydroxyl group, and then molecular clusters, and the hydroxyl group delivers this cluster to the cells of the body. So this is a form of a cellular nourishment, isn't it? Cellular nourishment. We do cavitation, or as I call it, collapse in the steam environment. In the center of its collapsing bubble, the pressure reaches tens, if not hundreds of atmospheres. It is this pressure, very high pressure, that plays a key role in the synthesis and formation of some of those cluster compounds. Protein compounds, for example. In particular, let's talk about the protein molecular compounds. These are important for nourishment of the cell, and creating these is of considerable interest. The water or the steam that is decomposed into these hydroxyl groups serves as a transporter. This is scientific language, and I want to understand it as a layman would. I started taking this product, using this device. What do we have there? The Druid samovar and the Kavitator. So the principle is the same as I understand. It is, essentially. It is the same, but with the Kavitator it is more automated, and with the Druid samovar it is more manual, so to say. Yes, it's simpler. And then what do I get? I pour water in there, something else? Do I get a cellular nutrition product right away? The main advantage of this product is this. You take it in the morning, and then for 24 hours, the cells of your body do not send the "food please" signal to your brain. And you do not experience any hunger at all. It is a form of cellular nourishment. Cellular nourishment. Full cellular saturation. Yes, full cellular saturation, providing everything the cell needs. So we can call it new food. That's right. Can we do that? Yes, we can, and with time that might be necessary to do. Well, have you drunk this water yourself? I've drunk it myself, of course. Feeling great? Is everything okay? I feel great. I haven't noticed any side effects. I feel great. All the properties that I have described, I have tested them on myself. Now, everyone would be asking, how soon can I get my hands on one of those magic samovars? When will the wonderful drink of the Druids be prepared? Somewhere around mid-October, we will be handing out first drinks for people to try. Just to try the drink for now. By the end of the year, around December 2019, we will, I'm sure, produce the first several thousands of the samovars of the Druids. Then the next question. You have another product, I know, and it is called the isonator. What is it for? What does it do? Why would people buy it? What's the beauty of it? The isonator combines the artificial tornado and the collapsing effect. But this equipment allows not to condense the steam, but emit it into the air. This household appliance would suck in the room air, cleanse it, run it through the isonator that collapses it, and then adds essential oils or salts or heats it up. And returns this air to the room. After the isonator, the processed air is similar to crystal clean air on the seaside resort in terms of its composition. There's even a special term to describe this kind of air: the sea breeze before a thunderstorm. It is ionized, clean air that has been heated. So the device can, with time, replace the heat-generating devices. If you install this equipment in your home, it will clean your air, benefit your health, and be overall quite useful, and also retain considerable quantities of heat. Then you can cancel your heating supply. Then, with a certain setup, this unit can also cool the air. It can provide drier air, that is, remove the moisture that is contained in the air in its saturated state. So, this is essentially a device that cleans the air and, when necessary, adds or removes moisture. Yes. You have launched this project and attracted investments using a crowdfunding model. And as of today, you already have large investors, and you have been holding negotiations, as you have already said. You said also that you were ready to create a joint venture. The company is ready for the first several $1 million worth of investments. And why exactly did you choose this model? There are two simple reasons. Firstly, over the last couple of years, we have created some devices that an ordinary customer would like to have in their household. These are not for large companies or industries. This equipment is for what an individual consumer would want to purchase. That's one thing. Then, we need to speed up the process of implementing this technological solution in real life. Because even at this stage, when our company is just a startup, we do have interested partners who want to install this technology on large enterprises. Why would you then try to work with individuals worth $200 to $3,000 when you have not only interested enterprises, but, mind you, whole countries? The important aspect is the commodity network organized from investors themselves who participate in establishing the enterprise. And in my opinion, this is the most promising form for further cooperation. We have profits, and we are ready to show these figures to any investor who asks. We have been working openly with the partners from the very beginning, and has been our policy. When will the first dividends be paid? When is it planned, and from which sources? You have had questions regarding payments, but here you use a slightly different model as far as I can tell. Of course it's different. And is the company planning to go to an IPO or an ICO? What are the deadlines for this process, and what profit figures are approximately expected? From the dividends, from rising share prices, whatever, what are the profit figures, and approximately within what period of time? According to our preliminary calculations, dividend payments are being planned for the third or the fourth quarter of next year, 2020. 2020. In the summer or the fall? Yes, this is one thing. The company's corporatization has been planned for this year. But, Anatoly, you have more information than I do to answer this question. You know this better than I do. Well, let's reveal some secrets. Everyone is interested, aren't they? This year we will roll out our own crypto asset provided for by the real production, and this year, most likely in the beginning of this year, we will send the first gifts to their owners. At this point, the coins will go on sale on external stock exchanges, the beginning of next year as the latest. This is for those people who were interested in the IPO or the ICO, because the IPO topic is not interesting. It is very long, tedious, with all sorts of processes going on. And as of today, the cryptocurrency prevails. It is a free market. It is not regulated. You can relax, let your fancy take flight, develop the product on this market, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much, Andrei, for your answers. Maybe a few words for our investors, participants, those people who believe in you, the people who follow you. I think they will be very pleased. At the heart of all successful economic projects, there always lies some kind of scientific novelty. In our case, it is the vector of intermolecular tension, which fits very nicely with the postulates of some new molecular structure, the theoretical structure of matter. This new technology allows us to create an artificial tornado, control and adjust it, and create new equipment and devices that would be considerably different from the existing models or radically new pieces of equipment, based, among other things, on the water and steam collapse phenomenon, such as the Druid samovar or the Kavitator. This is a radically new approach to new food, to organizing new food products. This allows us to achieve decent income or profitability, which we are then happy to share with our team, the people who believed in us and supported us even at this early stage. Friends, I hope you enjoyed today's interview. I hope we answered many of your questions. Below this video, you will find the link to the company website and the chat. And you can also ask any questions about AQUIX company. Our managers, our technical support staff will answer all the questions. Remember that as you buy a share in this company today, you are investing in a new coin provided for by real production. And very soon, we will have some fascinating news for all investors. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Bye-bye.